Hi there, welcome on in. My name is T and I am a full-time variety content creator who struggles to create content. I'm mainly a streamer on Twitch, and today I'm actually going to be talking a little bit about why I struggle to create content so much. So largely it comes down to my physical and my mental health. I have a variety of physical and mental health conditions, and they really do have a strong impact on my life. Firstly, my physical health is probably what gives me the most problems. So to start off with, I am diagnosed with IBS, which is a chronic pain condition, and I have quite a severe form of that. I also have suspected fibromyalgia and suspected chronic fatigue syndrome, which basically means I am exhausted all of the time. I'm exhausted right now. Like, I live on caffeine, which gets me through the day. As well as this, I also have extremely low blood pressure, which I am on medication for, and this can actually result in seizures sometimes, where basically if the pain gets too intense and my blood pressure gets too low, I will just pass out and my brain will respond by basically going into panic mode, which is really helpful. The medication has stopped that being as much of a problem, so now that happens super rarely, but if it does happen, then I'm out of commission for like a week. In terms of managing these conditions, it's quite difficult for me because I can't take ibuprofen because of the nature of my stomach condition, which also affects my legs and my back. And I can't take paracetamol because I've had bad reactions to paracetamol in the past, so I can't really take any of these over-the-counter pain medications, which is very frustrating for me because it means that I kind of have to just find alternative ways to deal with the pain or just deal with it. To put this into a little bit of perspective, I am in pain every single day. I'm in pain at the moment, but the thing about people who have these chronic pain conditions, they are very good at hiding it because they've had it for so long. It's just become part of their daily routine. So they just know how to just get on without it, without like showing it. So for example, right now I am in pain. I have pain about here on my stomach, and it's not too bad today. It's actually very manageable. Today I am more just tired, very exhausted, even though I slept for 10.5 hours last night, and it's just frustrating more than anything else, I'd say. The other really big problem with this is I cannot walk very far, so it does affect my mobility. I am eligible to be registered as disabled, but I have not done that yet because of my what we'll get to in the mental health conditions. But I am eligible to be registered as disabled because I cannot walk for longer than maybe sort of 10-15 minutes at a time before it bringing on a very bad pain attack. Even something as long as taking like a long shower can bring on a really bad pain attack, and I really struggle with that. So I have to be really careful managing not only my energy levels but also just the amount of time I'm spending on my feet. This and kind of trying to increase my exercise is something that I'm working on at the moment with my therapist. She's been kind of helping me, and I'm in workshops and stuff. But it's difficult. Like I am able to kind of increase the amount of movement that I can do per day, but it's really tough. Also, because of this, it means that I literally cannot hold down a job. Like I can only work from home realistically because just being out in the workforce, like I've had retail jobs in the past, and they're too much for me. They really do just kind of like take it out of me, and I get very ill very quickly. That is actually why I became a full-time content creator who actually is really bad at making content. In terms of how I deal with these things, it's much easier when I'm at home. Because I can't take over-the-counter medication, I tend to take Buscopan, which is a IBS relief drug. There is also a non-IBS version, which I actually really recommend for people who get periods. If you get really bad period cramps, I strongly recommend Buscopan. It really does help. It's a very good medication. I try and take it as little as possible though, because I don't want to develop an immunity to it or start developing bad reactions like I did with paracetamol. As well as taking Buscopan, which I do as as small amount as possible. I use heat a lot to kind of manage the worst of my pain. So in terms of using heat, I have a heated beanie that you just put in the microwave for like 40 seconds, and it is pretty handy. I like to use this if it's a very kind of a localized pain, because it's a much more direct source of heat therapy. I also have a heated pillow that you like plug into an outlet, and it's got these different settings to it, and this is a really good one if I'm just kind of having like a generalized pain day. It's a little bit warmer, it's a little bit more intense, but it's very handy for when I'm really struggling. And then finally, if I do have to go out anywhere, I use these stick-on heat pads which you stick to the inside of your clothes, and you can like just stick them in there, and they're very helpful. Like they activate and they last for like 8 hours, so they're quite handy. I do rarely go out because of these physical pain conditions as well as my mental health conditions, but I'm trying to increase that, and yeah, it's not going well. I would say the most important thing is to always just listen to your body. If you struggle with chronic illness in any form, always just be aware of how your body is feeling, how much you can manage, how much you can take on, how many spoons you have, and just always just bear that in mind. Do not push yourself to do more than you can physically handle. If you need to go back to bed, go back to bed. In terms of my mental health conditions, I have diagnosed depression and anxiety. I've had those diagnosed since I was a teenager, and I am on antidepressants. The depression is potentially being investigated as bipolar instead of depression, but we're not sure about that. I also have suspected ADHD and a potential very mild form of OCD, but that is extremely mild. I was assessed for autism and they said I don't have it, so I think that the symptoms that I think I have of autism are probably linked to one of my other mental health conditions, but I'm not sure about that. But I do feel like I identify very strongly with certain symptoms autistic people have. I'm also working with a therapist as well as taking the antidepressants to kind of improve things through CBT. It's a mixed bag at the moment. I'm still definitely working on that, but it's something that I'm doing. Honestly, the mental health really ties into my physical health because I really just don't want to leave the house a lot of the time because I'm so anxious. I get very like overloaded, like I get the sensory overload. I just don't like leaving the house. I don't really go out unless I absolutely have to, and this is something that I know I do need to improve. The pandemic made it so much worse, and now I do feel like I have a form of agoraphobia, but I don't have an official diagnosis, so I don't like to kind of say that. In another way I'm trying to combat this is I'm trying to increase the amount of hobbies that I have, because at the moment I really only have work and reading. So I'm trying to increase those hobbies that I have. So I'm trying to start taking up crocheting, I'm trying to start baking, I do want to increase the amount of yoga I'm doing again, and I'm also kind of working on trying to improve my self-care and just take care of myself and have like little pamper sessions as much as I'm able to. So that's it, I think. Like, I'm sorry if that was a really boring video. I really just wanted to like put this out there and just explain the conditions that I have and how they affect me. So they can really affect my work a lot of the time in terms of content creation, because some days I just don't have the spoon. Even though I love doing this, it can be really, really difficult for me to find the energy to do anything, and then some days I will just like hyperfixate on it. So I do apologize if my content creation is incredibly sporadic, but I'm working on it. I promise. If you have any of the conditions that I've mentioned today, or any other kind of conditions which are similar and you have coping mechanisms, please let me know in the comments, because I'm always looking for new ways to try and improve myself and also to try and take better care of myself. So if you do something that I haven't mentioned, let me know. We talk about chronic and mental illness a lot over on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/theentity. So if you want to have a like more in-depth chat about it, you can head on over there. I am really an open book, so if you have any questions, anything at all, I am always open to them. So let me know. Again, you can post them in the comments and I will try and respond to everything. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day wherever you are, and I will see you real soon. Bye!